Greetings and welcome to season 2 and episode 46 of Change Your Focus, a mindfulness podcast designed to inspire and center you. I am Dr. Aiko-Douglas, your host, transformational life coach, life integration specialist, and mindfulness practitioner, here to empower you to transform your life one mindful decision at a time. I am also here inspiring you to be mindful of the products you use on and in your body, as well as the products you use around your home. It's International Public Radio Broadcasting Day. May we honor those who invented the radio and devised public broadcasting. I am grateful for this technology and its importance in my life. Broadcasting news, music, live theater, music hall, fiction readings, religious broadcasts, and more. This is how broadcasting started and has grown. And because of such, I'm able to be here on YouTube broadcasting my podcast. So by the mid 20th century, every country had a broadcasting system that was, in most cases, run and operated by the government. Let's see here. Let's say hi to those who are here and in the chat. Okay. So last week in episode 45, I spoke about wisdom. And I shared how wisdom is something we must seek because it ultimately lies within us. It's our inner knowing. It goes beyond what we actually see and have experienced and know on an external basis. Whereas knowledge avails itself to us in every situation. And if we are attentive, we will learn what divine is trying to teach us with each new circumstance in our lives. Wisdom requires that we listen to our souls. We quiet our outside world, trust our internal GPS, and follow its guidance in all decisions we make. As I shared last week, it is with wisdom that I have made the best decisions in my life. That willingness to trust what my intuition is telling me versus all of the external things from people giving me advice to me going with what I see versus what my soul knows to be true. And so if you found my story inspiring or the meditation enlightening, or if any of the information was fruitful, please share. Also, if you have any questions about the episode or would like life coaching to support you in accessing your inner wisdom, please click my Calendly link in the description or message me on any social platform at Integr8 Lyfe for a complimentary discovery session. I would love to support you. So let's get into it. Today's episode is about generosity. Now, I invite you to contemplate this quote by author, teacher of teachers, training many in holistic life coaches, educators, traditional and alternative medicine professionals, psychologists, corporate executives, and teachers of A Course in Miracles. You all know that's one of my favorite books. Alan Cohen. Money is but one venue for generosity. Kindness is an even more valuable currency. So I'll say that again. Money is but one venue for generosity. Kindness is an even more valuable currency. So there's hope for us who say and believe and think we aren't abundant and say we don't have this money. Guess what? You can give more than money. There are many other options that have way more value than simply giving money. You have other resources. You are abundant in many ways, and you have so many options to being generous. So I want to shout out to my dad, Danny Johnson. It is his birthday today. So happy birthday, Dad. I want to thank you for teaching me how to be loving, kind, and generous. This man is one of the most loving and kind and generous people I know, and seeing that growing up impacted me tremendously. It made me a generous person, seeing him give so much of his time and his energy and his gift. He's a talented mechanic, and seeing him being willing to help any and everyone when they called about questions with their cars or even stop by our home for him to take a look, just him being willing to share his skills with people and his time and teach so many great lessons. So back to, again, generosity and kindness. Kindness is a quality of being that involves actions of generosity, consideration, and concern for others without expecting anything in return. That is key to our generosity, to do just because we want to do, in our kindness as we're considering others, because I'm sure we've also been on the receiving end of people who didn't consider us when they gave us something. And so then you see the gift and you're like, did they mean to give this to me? Do they even know me? The gift seems so misaligned. So again, in being kind and giving, actually considering and having concern for the person or people that you are giving to and what they might most need versus what you just want to give or maybe get rid of. Really being thoughtful in that. And so one of the things I enjoy doing is giving of my time, my resources, and my skills to support others, very much like my father. As a certified life coach, as I've shared here, you all know that I enjoy mentoring young ladies in my spare time, and I offer my services on a complimentary basis to support them in thriving through college and other major life moments. Even here, sharing content on social media and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and X, but sharing that content to support others in being more mindful. It is what I love to do. So today, I want to focus our attention on what we've been seeing in the media, in the news, what is occurring in the LA area. So, as we know, there are raging wildfires, and as a result, some have lost their lives, some are missing, many are injured, and many more have lost their homes and been displaced. And so, if you haven't already, find social broadcasting on the fires and share this information with your community. Inspire those who follow you to be generous and listen for what people might need and give generously. I encourage you to donate to reputable charitable organizations like the Red Cross. If you're deciding to give and you're watching the information and receiving that on social media, I remind you to please do your own research on these organizations that you're perhaps deciding to give money to or donate blankets to or clothes or what have you, so that you know that what you are giving will actually reach the people in need. Nowadays, we have all the resources to be able to do some thorough research and ensure our donations will be fruitful. So, I've shared before here in this space that we have a bank in this world, a bank of all the things we put out into the universe. And so there's a bank of all of our giving. We have these deposit slips of all the giving we've put out into this world, all the good, all the kindness, all the generosity. And in that giving, right, our hands are open, we're open to give. And what position is this open hand also preparing us for as we give? To receive. So as we give, know that we can give as much as we desire. We can give beyond. We can be generous because we are abundant, because you can trust that as you give, the universe universe will make sure indeed that you receive and you are taken care of. It's how it works. Um, it always does. And so, encouraging us to give without expecting to receive, and also know that as you're giving out of the kindness of your heart, that same spirit will be returned to you. Always. That is how the universe works. And so you don't have to worry about, because I used to once do this, you don't have to worry about giving and that person who you're giving to giving back to you. It may not be the same person, but trust and believe you will receive abundantly as you give abundantly. And that can be from people you know and sometimes people you don't know. I remember when people I didn't even know would give me things. And at first I grappled with receiving. I talked about my journey with that on here. And it's like, well, this is how it works. It's reciprocity. So how can I be giving so much to so many, even people I don't know? And yet when people who don't know me want to pour into me, then I had a problem with receiving. So know that, yes, you will receive abundantly. And sometimes it will be from people you don't know as you are continuing to pour into others, whether you know them or not. And you don't have to expect or want or need that person who you gave this to give something back to you. That's not the spirit of giving. And so, really inviting us to be aware and open and see, like, what ways are we generous, and perhaps dig deeper and see how we could be more generous, genuinely generous, not seeking to receive, trusting that the universe will take care of all of that because it always does, but just giving because it feels good. It feels really good to give to those in need. And so I want to pose a question from JFK. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So, in times of need, when we're wanting people and things to show up for us, consider, be considerate. In times where you are abundant and you are not in need, what could you be pouring into this world? What does the world need from you? What's going on in the world right now that you can contribute to and help and make it better? Again, whether that's your time, service, whether that's your financial resources, whether that's things in your home that you have. Maybe you can go out and buy things that are needed, again, like blankets, clothes, socks, shoes, whatever, and donate those things. Really be inquisitive, genuinely, and considerate of who it is you're wanting to give to. I have shared on here that as we are giving to others, to not only be mindful, again, like this consideration, right? Like, who am I giving to? Be mindful of what we're giving. Again, is it the thing that they actually need? And sometimes we do have to ask, right? Sometimes we just want to give and surprise people. But sometimes it is okay to ask, what do you need most from me or from this world, this organization, whatever it is? And then be willing to fill that need when we ask others what they actually need, because that can be the most compassionate and the most fruitful way to give to someone and the most useful in their time of need. So, again, reminding you that as we know and are aware of everything that is occurring in the LA area in this time, if you know people that are experiencing it, if you yourself are sending lots of love and light and time and resources and broadcasting, getting the message out there so that people who do have the resources can donate something, give something. Some people are choosing to volunteer. I learned yesterday that Mexico has sent others from their fire departments to come and support the fire departments in the LA area. And how awesome is that? So we're also receiving support from other countries to be able to help in this area. So if you know and you feel that you would be a great volunteer and you're in the LA area and you want to support, by all means, all right? If you're just sitting at home, maybe you're stay at home, whatever, maybe you're retired, yeah, and you want to use use your time to be able to go support at some of the shelters, organize supplies, give supplies. Really look at how you can be used during this time that this particular area, LA, is in need. And yeah, allow your heart to move you to be generous. Okay. I think about times where I have needed people most. And many of those times when I was thinking about this is when I was moving. You all, if you've moved anywhere, I've moved quite a bit in my life, actually. And so if you've moved, you know that those things can be stressful. It takes a lot of time. And so, sometimes I've been able to buy a truck and have everything move, but you still need people, right, to either drive your car, drive the truck, or load the truck. And so just having the friends and the family to be able to show up for me, to support me in that moving. And also once I'm in my new place, whether that's a job, a city, country, then having the people in those places be willing to support me and get acclimated to those new places. That's also another time where I've needed support and people have been generous enough to help me. And I'm grateful for that. And then I think about every change that people have been there for me to support me, just really being generous and helping me through major life changes. And so I invite you to consider that, and we'll do this in just a moment. I invite you to consider all the times that you have needed something or someone to show up and do something kind and generous, and how it felt being on the receiving end, especially when you really needed it. Maybe it made you emotional. You cried. It was like, oh, thank God that this support was here, this help was here. I don't know how I would have made it or done it otherwise. You know how it feels. And so remembering that as we're putting all this good, this generosity, this kindness out into the world, the universe will make sure that you indeed will reap a great harvest. Knowing that we're not giving to reap a great harvest, we're giving genuinely, but also trust and know that all the other stuff will be worked out. Know that you lack nothing, you are abundant, and you do have the capacity to give in some way. And so I'd like to guide you through a brief mindfulness practice to support you in being more generous. And so before we begin our mindfulness practice, I invite you to sit on the floor cross-legged or in a chair with your feet flat on the floor to ground yourself. Your spine will be straight and your neck an extension of your spine. Begin to tune into your breath. Inhaling and exhaling deeply and slowly through your nose. Taking a little more time on each inhale and a little more time on each exhale. Breathing into your abdomen. So moving that breath down and really feeling yourself, feeling your stomach expand with each inhale and contract with each exhale. That's it. Deeply and slowly. Now I invite you to close your eyes and continue this breath. Breathing into your abdomen slowly and deeply. Feeling the expansion and contraction of your abdomen. And now I invite you to imagine in the very room that you are seated in, filling that room with a bright light that emanates from the inside of you. So there's a white light inside at the center of you, expanding, filling you up, and then expanding beyond you until it fills the room that you are in. And now imagine that same white light emanating from within you, filling the home or the building that you are in. And now see the white light expanding and filling the entire city that you are in. And now see this white light filling the state that you are in. And now see this white light filling the entire country that you live in. And now imagine this white light filling the entire world. See it expand beyond to the cosmos, the solar system. See this white light engulfing all. And now see yourself in a specific time of need, a time where you really needed someone or something to show up, or life wouldn't have been the same had they not. See yourself in that time of need. And maybe you asked for help, or maybe, perhaps, someone just helped you out of the kindness of their heart because they saw you in need and didn't even ask. They just stepped in. See that. And what was your need at the time? Simply notice. And remember how willing this person or people were to help you. And how did it feel to be on the receiving end of someone else's generosity and kindness towards you? Simply notice how you felt, your gratitude, your appreciation. Notice how you felt. Again, maybe you cried. Maybe you were completely overwhelmed in the best way. Simply notice. How it feels for others to show up for you and come through. And to give and to pour into you when you needed it most. Now take a deep breath and imagine that you are one of those affected by the fires in the LA area. You've lost everything. Imagine what you must be feeling. And then imagine what you are most in need of. Your immediate needs. What are they? What might be the things you need, but you don't particularly know how to ask for? Simply notice and take a deep breath. And now imagine you're someone who can help those affected by the wildfires. Imagine you are abundant and you are creative and you are willing to help those during their time of need. Keeping in mind of the things that you just saw you might need if it were you, how might you support those in the LA area right now? Ask yourself, what can I do to be most helpful and generous towards those affected by the wildfires? And listen for a response. I invite you to sit with this response and see yourself stepping up and being generous. What would it take for you to do that? What does that look like for you? And how does it feel to be able to support and give what you can to help others? How does that feel? Now I invite you to take the deepest breath you have taken all day and begin to feel the seat beneath you and slowly returning to the space and opening your eyes when you are ready. I encourage you to journal what feelings and ideas came up for you during the meditation, and I empower you to give. What you give today could be the very thing you need in the future. So put yourself at a surplus instead of a deficit when it comes to giving. Remembering that what we deposit into this world, we can withdraw when needed. So, now to complete our mindfulness session for today, please affirm by repeating after me. I am generous and seek out ways to genuinely help others. Good. Let's say that again. I am generous and seek out ways to genuinely help others. Great. One last time. I am generous and seek out ways to genuinely help others. Beautiful. That brings us to the end of our session. May you enjoy integrating mindfulness into your life daily. I invite you to be mindful, breathe deep often, and contemplate all the ways you can genuinely give from your heart. Remember, mindfulness is always available to you every minute of every day. May you use each minute to be mindful. I am Dr. Aiko-Douglas, your host, transformational life coach, life integration specialist, and mindfulness practitioner, here to empower you to transform your life one mindful decision at a time. I'm also here inspiring you to be mindful of the products you use on and in your body, as well as the products you use around your home. If you found this podcast through social media, please share which platform in the comments below. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel to follow my journey. And if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, I invite you to rate the podcast and leave a review with your rating. Reviews are fruitful because they help the person producing and creating the content for you to know what it is you'd like to see more of, what worked for you, what didn't. So again, if you are rating this show, I encourage you to also leave a review so there's more insight into the rating, and I can continue providing the content that you indeed desire. Okay. I also invite you to join my exclusive community on Patreon at Integrate Life. Thank you for tuning in, listening, engaging, and being mindful with me today. Namaste.